implement Ready Rosie with your families. So let's just start a little bit with the why. Why Ready Rosie? This is a picture of Ready Rosie's founder, Emily Roden, and her daughter, Rosie. As a busy working mom, Emily wanted to know how to be a good parent, what was developmentally appropriate, and how she could help Rosie grow and develop as she was becoming ready for school. Emily did what any well-meaning parent would do. She went to the internet. And what do you think she found? Well, she found apps and games that Rosie could play independently of her. And she was really looking for something that she could do with Rosie, even though there's lots of great apps out there. She found worksheets, which she knew that wasn't developmentally appropriate for a 3 or 4-year-old. She found, craft activities that involved felt and glitter and glue, and she really wasn't in the mood to go out and purchase those items or get involved in a large craft project as a busy mom. What she couldn't find were examples of other families showing how they handle the same situations and the same questions in her own home. So what makes Ready Rosie unique? As you all know, parenting doesn't come with instructions. Families hunger for information. They trust and they want to see examples how other families are doing the same things. So Ready Rosie is founded on a real need from a real family. It provides accessible, research-based family curriculum so all families have access to child development information and rich learning activities that build connections between child and families and schools. And it's practical. It goes beyond just theory to that real peer-to-peer learning model. So you get to see how other families interact, and you get access to these bite-sized chunks of information and research. So we're going to start by watching a short Ready Rosie video that illustrates a learning activity that's accessible to all families. So as you watch that short video, I'd like you to reflect for a minute and think, what skills can be learned by playing a game such as Flip, Slide, and Turn? Could your families play a game like this? What activity do you have or that you know of that children do that would reinforce these vocabulary words and these skills? Think about, for example, when children work with puzzles. They need to understand those same terms: flip, slide, and rotating. In the early years, this is part of building spatial awareness and vocabulary. In the older grades, it becomes part of geometry. Flip, slide, turn is just an example of 1,000+ videos in our library that are 2 minute or less, modeling for families everyday interactions they can have with their children that supports what you're doing in the classroom. At Ready Rosie, we believe that families are an asset and that they can help support the same skills and activities we're doing at school. In fact, we often like to say that we view families as assets. Research shows that the teacher beliefs and mindsets matter. Teachers' perceptions about families shape their family engagement efforts. How many times in our work do we hear things like, when children enter kindergarten, there's this 30 million word gap, especially from children in low income situations where no one is speaking to them at home. They have this huge deficit of words. Or we hear things that only 58% of low income children start school ready to learn. Or that those same children often have to fend for themselves and their younger siblings while their caregivers work long hours. Perhaps you've heard things such as the lack of parental involvement is the biggest problem facing public schools, or that 80% of lower income fourth graders are not reading proficiently. Or have you ever thought to yourself, if only my families would just participate more or care more? As you can imagine, all these things influence our beliefs and mindsets as educators. But statistics like these only tell part of the stories. In fact, our families actually have a lot to offer. They have things such as aspirational wealth, aspirational capital, where they have deep hopes and dreams. Perhaps they have linguistic capital, and they've received a deep appreciation and understanding for the power of language and literacy. Or navigational capital, they've bounced back from difficult situations and they have grit. Or they have resistance capital. They have a deep appreciation for social justice and equality. Your families have many types of wealth and capital as they come to you each day. It's our job as educators to take those strengths that they have and use that and turn that lens, turn it as viewing them as a deficit to an asset. And at Ready Rosie, we're here to help harness that power, harness what's within to help them be engaged families. In fact, over 30 years of research shows that students of engaged families are more ready for school and have higher attendance. They have stronger social skills and fewer behavior problems. They have high quality work habits and task orientation compared to children whose parents do not participate. Those children have higher expectations and better attitudes towards learning. They earn higher grades and graduation rates, and they graduate and go on to post-secondary opportunities. So family engagement is important. Research shows it. And it's the same reason this research, why Head Start is now requiring that parenting curriculum and why Title I schools require a piece of family engagement. Engaging your families is crucial. So let me show you an example of a few more of our modeled moment videos and how we harness that power that parents have within them and model for them with other real families how they can take advantage of everyday teachable moments. For example, perhaps they're playing a simple game, describing game with items from their pantry. ReadyRosie makes engaging families easy. Families can access content anywhere, anytime, and can build on what they already know with items they have at home. Our model moment videos support that same home learning. At ReadyRosie, we use real families. Real families in modeling everyday activities with things they have around the house. If something is needed, like a deck of cards, dice, it can easily be picked up at the dollar store. Families may also choose to not do those activities if it's an item they don't have. This peer-to-peer modeling is powerful and accessible. All of our model moments are in 2 languages, English and Spanish. In addition to that, though, we also have other language options through the closed caption. You can click on the blue closed caption icon at the bottom of the English videos and access both Vietnamese and Arabic subtitles. The ReadyRosie activities take place in everyday environments, places like at home, in the car, on the bus, at the grocery store, at the doctor's office. Places we know families go. ReadyRosie wants families to know that learning takes place everywhere and that you could take advantage of waiting time to enjoy learning time together. Finally, ReadyRosie supports standards. Our model moments don't teach the standards and guidelines, but they support them. In the videos we just watched, families weren't told how to do something, but they were modeling how they can support those same skills and activities you're working on as educators. Now that you've learned how easy it is to provide accessible family curriculum to your families, let's take a look at what you and your families get by using ReadyRosie. Families receive access to the entire video library from any device, whether it be a tablet, a phone, computer. They get access to the entire library where they can filter that library. Perhaps they want to find games they can do with a 4-year-old at the grocery store. But we also deliver messages to your family. So every Monday, they receive a weekly message from ReadyRosie. We call it a playlist with 4 to 5 videos containing videos and other resources. If you have ReadyRosie Pre-K, perhaps you're a Head Start or a Pre-K center, your families will receive some Pre-K videos as well as at least one infant and toddler video each week. If you're an elementary teacher, your families are going to receive a variety. Their playlist will be a mix of different grades, and they're anywhere from kindergarten through 3rd grade. Your families receive these messages by email or text message. The choice is theirs whenever they register. However, they can also receive a message from you. We'll talk about that in a minute and how you can customize that content. So you're going to receive access to this platform called Share. This is where you invite your families. You can customize those playlists of videos to your families. You have access to our family workshops, which we'll also get into a little more detail, and data, where you can track the progress of your families. You also receive multiple resources and tools, things like bilingual materials like flyers and posters to advertise ReadyRosie to your families, as well as family workshops or Give Me 10 workshops. They're 10-minute workshops that you can do with your families, perhaps before a PTA meeting. Also, you'll receive parent-teacher conference support materials, as well as support materials to help you plan a family night. So before we go to the platform, just to summarize, ReadyRosie is a unique combined approach. We have digital videos with model moment videos. We have family workshops and other tools. You can personalize the learning to your families with the Share platform. And you have data to track the progress of your families. So let's get started. We're going to start by going over to the ReadyRosie platform. So as you go to the ReadyRosie platform, I went to ReadyRosie.com, and you're going to click Sign In. You're going to be prompted to enter your email address in the first space. So you'll enter your email address there. So as a teacher or a family service worker or as an administrator, that email address is going to be your work email address. The very first time you log in, you can enter any password you want, and that will become your password. Now, if you ever forget your password, feel free to use the reset password button, or you can use one of my favorite secrets that says forgot your login info. You click that button, you enter that work email address, and then we'll send you an email, and you'll be able to click on a magic link and log in without a password. It's a great tool to keep in mind. Now, I've saved my information so I can easily log in. Now, I've got multiple levels of access, but I'm going to go over to my teacher access so that we can walk through the platform together. So there's a few important steps as you're letting families know about ReadyRosie. So the way you get to different parts of the platform is over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to start with the resources tab because step one is to let your families know what ReadyRosie is. In fact, it's the very first thing here in the resource tab, introducing families to ReadyRosie. So as I click on that, I'm going to have some resources that pop up. Here's some posters that I can make copies of to hang up around the school or my Head Start Center. I'm also going to look at down here, there is a Give Me 10 called Introducing ReadyRosie. So this is actually a 10-minute PowerPoint and facilitator guide, where if you've got an open house or a meet the teacher night or a family workshop where you have 10 minutes to introduce families to what ReadyRosie is, we've provided everything you need to introduce them. We've got the PowerPoint and the facilitator guide for you to follow along in both English and Spanish. Also in that tab called Introducing Families to ReadyRosie, check out the invite letters right here. There's a couple of letter options. One is just a basic flyer. It also has a place to collect parent information. However, my very favorite flyer is this new flyer called the invite/registration flyer. So I'm going to click on English or Spanish, depending on which language I need. But for demo purposes, I'm going to open the English one to show you what it looks like. It is a two-sided flyer, so it'll be a front and back. Top part explains what ReadyRosie is. Below that, it explains how families will react to the videos. It explains to them that they watch the video, they do the activity with their child, they can click the We Did It button, and they can comment on the video. It also tells them to look for that invitation from you, the teacher or family service worker. It tells them they're going to receive a text or email, that they're going to click on it, and then they're going to get registered. It even goes through those steps. Step one, choose your language. Step two, parent, what's your first and last name? Step three, do you want to receive it by text, email, or both? Create your password. And finally, you're in. You've got a welcome video and you're ready to start receiving those weekly messages and activity ideas. So it's very important that you let your families know what ReadyRosie is. Again, all of that was in that resource tab under Introducing Families to ReadyRosie. Now, while I'm here, take some time on your own to go back and check the rest of the resources. Celebrating success, there's some certificates in here that you can print off and celebrate any success your family has. Maybe you want to celebrate that they've watched 10 videos, or you want to celebrate that they've accepted the invitation. Training and professional development, there's some short little videos in here if you forget anything I said in this particular video. There's your family workshops and those Give Me 10 workshops. If you're a Head Start, that's particularly important as you're using ReadyRosie as your parenting curriculum to use those family workshops. Tools and resources. This is where you'll find those parent-teacher conference materials, family event planning guides, and more. Alignments and curriculum maps. So make sure you take the time to check out all that our resource tool has to offer. Now, how do you invite families? You've told families about ReadyRosie, now it's ready to invite them. You'll do that by creating a classroom. So you'll click on the Classroom tab. When you click on Classroom, now you'll notice I have multiple classrooms. You can create as many classrooms as you need to. So if you have a morning class and an afternoon class, or if you're a Head Start family service worker, and maybe you have a caseload of 5 classes, you can create 5 different classes. I'm going to click Add New Class. I'm going to give my class a name, whatever that might be. I'll just call it my Test 1 class. Give it an age or grade level. I'll say it's a pre-K class. And you can give it a fun color if you'd like, although that's not necessary. And then you'll click Create Classroom. Now I'm ready to add those students. Very simply, there's an Add Student button. Click Add Students. Now I'm ready to add my students here. So child's first name, child's last name, parent email, and or parent cell phone number. I don't need both. One or the other is fine. If you have both, that's great. But now I'm ready to start adding my families. And when I do that, don't forget, after you enter that information, to come down here to either schedule that invitation to go out. So maybe I want to enter that information today. And then on Monday, I'm going to tell my families what ReadyRosie is, and I want it to schedule it to go out on Tuesday. So you can choose the date that invitation goes out, or maybe you've already told your families about ReadyRosie and you want to click the down arrow and you want to select Invite Now. Up to you, but now you're ready to invite your families. Just please make sure if you enter that information, you don't forget to either schedule it or invite them now. Also, a little tip, when you do fill any form out on ReadyRosie and save it, we'll look for a little blue line up here at the top that'll be going across. Sometimes teachers click that Invite Now button 3 or 4 times, and that ends up with a lot of duplicates. So be patient as the platform is working to save your information. I'm going to quickly go back to classrooms now. Once you've sent those invitations out, you're going to have some pending invitations. So, of course, some families will accept those invitations right away. Some will remain pending. So if there are pending invitations, there is a little button here that says Pending Invitations. I can click on that, Pending Invitations. I can rescind those invitations if I need to, or I can edit that information. So if Mr. Horton doesn't accept the invitation, I could check with him, make sure I have his correct email address. If he says it's incorrect, I can change it and schedule it to go out again. I'm going to click my Classroom tab again. There's a few more things I want to show you under Classrooms. The first being, I'd like to show you what your classroom looks like. So this is a classroom where I already have some students in this classroom. Now, this is my these are my consultants in this particular classroom. But you'll notice that you can assign other teachers to your classroom. Now, I've got a lot of teachers assigned to this classroom because it's what we use for training purposes. But let's say that you're a family service worker and you want to share your classroom with the classroom teacher, or vice versa. You're a classroom teacher and you want to share your classroom with your family service worker. Or maybe you're the team lead and you want to share your classroom. You want to share everyone's classroom on your 3rd grade team. You can do that. It's very simple. You click Assign a Teacher. You choose another teacher from your school that we have in our system, and you click Submit. And now you're sharing that classroom with another teacher. Now, you can also see here, there's a place to resend all your pending invitations. That's a new feature that we recently added. So if you've got any pending invitations, you can resend all of them. But I'd like to show you now some really important data and some enhanced data that we've recently added that I think that you'll find beneficial. So when I click on a student name, now if I've got this teacher access, there's that little blue line I was talking about where the system's thinking. I can see some really important data for my family. So I can see, for example, that Miss Holly has watched 168 videos. And she's been exposed to 464 learning outcomes, and she's been exposed to 465 family outcomes. So what does that mean? Well, as you probably know, in most of our Ready Rosie videos, they cover a variety of learning outcomes. For example, it might be a math video that is measurement, but they might also be doing some counting or some estimation. So there might be 3 learning outcomes from that particular video. I can see here the nice little pie chart, how many language and literacy videos outcomes that parent has been exposed to, how many math, how many health and well-being, how many social and emotional learning. But when I come down here and I click on, let's say, math, it opens up these subcategories, and I can see even more of those learning outcomes that parent has been a part of by watching the videos. On the right-hand side, I can see that those family outcomes, which we're taking from the PFCE. So things like, did the video model family well-being or positive parent-child relationships? Again, most of our videos can be attributed to multiple of those outcomes. So you'll see that those numbers grow as parents watch videos. Then below that, I can see some recent interactions of my family. So again, we're looking at Miss Holly here. I can see, she watched the video Canned on August 24th. She watched it 2 times, and there was 1 learning outcome from that particular video. Scrolling down, I can see on August 22nd, she watched Table Riddles. I can see that she checked the box for like, she checked the box for we did it, and she even made a comment. I never thought about doing this at a restaurant while we wait. So you're able to see some really important data from your families to really help inform and guide even those student outcomes, where you can look at what families are doing with engaging their student at home and then compare that with those student outcomes and see those students grow. So all of that was in your classroom tab. Now I'm going to go show you what a Ready Rosie playlist looks like. So I'm going to go to schedule, and I can click on upcoming Ready Rosie playlist. So for example, next week on, let's see, September 10th, pre-K families are going to be receiving a playlist from Ready Rosie called What is the Most Important Word in Your Child's Life? And we can see that there's those few pre-K videos. There's an infant and toddler video down here, a couple at the bottom. So I'm able to see what's upcoming from Ready Rosie. This is exactly what a playlist looks like for your families by text or email. If they want to receive that information in Spanish, the first thing they'll see are those Spanish videos and that Spanish text. But notice they can toggle back and forth just like I can. So remember, Ready Rosie sends something every Monday. But then you, the teacher or the family service worker, can also create your own playlist. So you'll do that by clicking on Playlist. You'll start by clicking Add Playlist. Once you click Add Playlist, your playlist editor will come up. You'll start by giving your video a title. So, measurement around the house. Give your families a short message. Dear families, we are measuring everything this week. Try these activities at home to reinforce what we are doing. Leave a comment so I know you did the activity. short message to your families. Then you need to select who the playlist is going to go to. Now, remember I said you can share classroom. So maybe you're a third grade team lead and you've all the third grade teachers have shared their classroom with you and you want to send it to all those third grade classrooms. You can do that. Or maybe you're a family service worker and you have a caseload of 3 classrooms. You can send it to all 3 classrooms. Or maybe you have an AM and PM class, whatever it might be. Maybe you just have one class. You need to decide who this playlist is going to go to. Next, you're going to choose videos. Now, you can start by filtering by age. Now, I'll say that this is I'll say it's a first grade video. I'm going to, for time's sake, just type in measurement and click go. And that'll filter first grade videos around measurement. Now I can watch the video, or if I know I like that video already, I can add it by clicking the plus sign. So I'm going to click hunt and measure, and would that work for my 2 measurement videos to send home to my first grade families? Now, if you've got some Spanish-speaking families in your classroom, you're going to want to translate what you just wrote. Notice it says families will receive playlists in their preferred language. That means if they chose Spanish, these videos I just chose in English will come to them in Spanish. However, I need to click Espanol to the left, right here, to provide a translated message. So ReadyRosie, of course, doesn't know what your custom message says, so you're going to want to translate that. If you're bilingual, I encourage you to type that same title and message here in Spanish. If you're not bilingual like me, I have to click translate for me and trust Google Translate to do the best possible job. Of course, if you know anything about using the Google Translate, it's not perfect, but for me, it's the best I can do. Finally, I need to send this playlist out. So I'm going to come down here and I can either save it and schedule it to go out later, or I can click the down arrow and save and send it right now. Just a word about custom playlists. We do find that families tend to watch playlists made by their teacher over the normal ReadyRosie playlist. So we do encourage you to make custom playlists, even if you just want to send out 1 in 6 weeks or 1 per unit, whatever it might be. We do encourage you to take advantage of the custom playlist feature. Next, I'm going to walk through the video library with you quickly. I just want to show you that we do have a lot to offer in our library. If you look at the categories, we have everything from health and well-being videos, language and literacy videos, math and reasoning. You can click on any of those and you'll get an expanded library. Research and answer videos. These are great videos from experts on every topic from challenging behaviors to discipline, to home language, to school and family partnerships. We also have social and emotional learning videos, things around self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making. For you, teachers or educators, we also have some professional development videos. Now, these are special to only your library, but maybe you're curious about things such as children's media and what do I need to know about it? Or how can I help families understand screen time? Or maybe you're wondering, what's the difference between storytelling and retelling? These are professional development videos specifically just for you. Before we end, I do want to point out a few more features. One being this little mailbox at the top. I do encourage you to set expectations for your families. So maybe you'd like to tell them, your expectation is they watch at least 1 video or 2 videos a week and they comment on them. When they comment on that video, it opens up this 2-way communication between you and the parent to strengthen that parent-home relationship. You get that comment up here in this little envelope. Click on the envelope, and this is where you'll able to see those comments from families. So, for example, Rhonda here said, "We loved this." And then I sent a message back and said, "So glad you enjoyed it." You can send that message back right here where you can, type a message to them and then click post. When you do that, when you're commenting within the mailbox feature, that's only going to that particular parent. It's not going to your whole class. So that is how you add your families, check that detailed enhanced data, create those custom playlists, as well as that all important resource page. I do encourage you to take advantage of all this resource page has to offer. As you're thinking about implementing ReadyRosie, I encourage you to think about current touch points you have with families already. So for example, under tools and resources, you're probably already hosting parent-teacher conferences. Check out the new materials we have for that. Things such as a questionnaire that you can send to families prior to that parent-teacher conference, or a form that you can send to them to help schedule that parent-teacher conference. So look at that information again in that resource tab. That is ReadyRosie. That's how to use that platform. Just as a reminder, under those important first steps, it is very important to let your families know what ReadyRosie is prior to sending the invitations. And it's also important to follow up and make sure that your parents are registered. Again, when you're making your parents aware, set those goals for your families. Let them know, again, what your expectations are. Take advantage of those bilingual materials we have to help spread the word. And show them how ReadyRosie works. Tell them that they're free videos, that they're short. They take 2 minutes or less for them to watch the video, and then play the game with their child. Let them know it supports what you're teaching in the classroom. Remember, once you get your students entered into the system, your parents receive an invitation where they select their language preference, they put in their own name, they choose their notification preference, text, email, or both, and they create their password. Finally, follow up and make sure your parents are registered. Check those pending invitations, edit them, resend them. If at any time during the school year or even the summer you need help with ReadyRosie, please reach out to us at support@readyrosie.com. We're happy to help you troubleshoot any issues you're having. And finally, I encourage you to follow us on social media. You can connect with us through Facebook or Twitter. We'd love to see your success stories. We love it when our partners post pictures of them using ReadyRosie with their families. Thank you for your time and enjoy your year with ReadyRosie.